This is the Albuquerque Business Podcast with your host, Jason Rigby. Each week, we interview leading local business leaders to inspire the vision and spirit that is in every entrepreneur, discussing strengths, weakness, strategies, systems, and the problems we can all solve together to fulfill a shared vision of a new future for Albuquerque.
Hi, and welcome to the Albuquerque Business Podcast. This is your host, Jason Rigby. Today, we've got a really exciting show. I want to kind of give you guys some secrets on Instagram. I think a lot of you are looking at Instagram as something that you should do with your business. Maybe you haven't made that leap. Maybe you're just playing around on your personal profile. But I want to get into exactly what it means to have a business Instagram profile. So let's get real practical really quick. I don't have a lot of time today, and I want to make sure that I provide a ton of value for you guys. You have to realize the most engaged audience on social media nowadays is Instagram. It has the highest conversions for brands. There are over 25 million companies that are on Instagram now. They know, they understand. You're seeing companies over and over again that are targeting you. What are they doing? They're on Instagram stories. They have swipe ups that go right to the shopping cart. You can order things and buy things directly from Instagram. But the first thing that you need to do is either switch your personal Instagram account to your business account or start a new business account. And if you haven't started an Instagram business account, from scratch, it's very simple. You just download the Instagram app, open it up, sign up, enter your information, your email, choose your username, password, fill in your profile information. And we're going to get into that of how to optimize your profile here in a little bit. And then you hit done and you're ready. And then from there, you can start posting on the story, however you want with your Instagram account. Now, if you have a personal Instagram account, which a lot of you do, this is what I ended up doing, and you want to switch it over to the business account so that you can see your analytics and do a lot more, run ads, Instagram ads if you want. You can run, for a couple dollars a day, run some Instagram ads, and we'll get into that. But it's very simple. You just log into your existing personal Instagram account. You go over to where your profile icon is on your profile, and then you're going to see 3 lines at the top of the right screen, and that's your settings. And then right in there, there's going to be something that says switch to business profile. You click that, hit continue. And then from there, you can log in and put your Facebook business page. You can have it post to Twitter for you. You can have it post to Tumblr. And I encourage you to get all those and click on those just to have it to be able to post. Here's a little key that helps you with your SEO, especially locally if you're hashtagging Albuquerque in the areas that you're in. Then you add your contact information. On a business account, you can include an email address, a phone number, and a physical address. You can put all those in there. You click done. You're ready to go. So how do we make sure that we have this winning strategy that happens as a local business on Instagram? And before you get into what am I going to post, how am I going to post, what type of logo do I want to use on here? The list goes on and on. Everybody kind of looks at it and says, what should I do? What should I do? They're always asking me questions. It doesn't really matter as much as what you're posting. You can't be boring or inconsiderate or, offensive, because Instagram will shut you down. But the key is to make sure that you're looking at your target audience and you know who you want to reach. Who buys from you already? What does your clientele look like? If you're a nail salon, what do those people look like that come to that? Is it your neighborhood? And in your neighborhood, there's 25 to 45-year-old, young moms, and they're the ones that come in there. Who is already buying from you? What do your customers look like right now? You can even look at the other analytics on your social media and your Google, if you have Google Analytics set up for your website, and I'll do a whole show on that. But look and learn who's already following you. Look and learn who's already engaged. Look at the age groups. Get to understand and know. You got to know your audience. And if you guys don't know that, I encourage you to do that. And then from there, do some research on what, there's a big difference between a 45-year-old woman and a 25-year-old woman. And I always tell people this, 25 to 45, huge difference. Think about that. If you're a 45-year-old woman, where are you at in your life compared to when you were 25? Where were you at compared to you were 35? Become very clear with who you want to market to. You've got to do that. And look maybe you already have an audience, you don't even know it. Maybe it's, senior citizens, and that's who you know. Here's a prime example. If I'm a Buick dealership, and I know the average age of people that are buying my vehicles are 55 and older, why am I going to be on Snapchat? I would be on Facebook because that's where my audience is at. So look at that, understand, look at your analytics, and you'll know exactly where you need to be. The next thing is do some competitor research. Find out what your competition's doing. Look at competition in other cities. Go on Google and type in top nail salon in Scottsdale or top nail salon in LA, and then look at their social profiles. I guarantee you if you look at those top 5 profiles on Instagram, I guarantee you they're killing it. And I guarantee it's very clear, and they have a huge expression of their brand, exactly who they want to reach. So, yeah, you're a tattoo artist and you're in the Albuquerque area and you're wanting to reach people in the Northeast Heights, maybe, people that want to do portraits, whatever the style is that you're looking at doing, then there's a right way to do that. You want to make sure that you're not posting you guys hanging out at the club, being crazy at all hours of the night. You want to show that you're responsible tattoo artists, and maybe you open up a little bit earlier. You're available on Saturdays and Sundays because most people are working. You got to know your audience. Now, if you're wanting to 18 to 25-year-old college kids, then what are you going to show? It's a whole different ballgame when you actually know the audience and how you can create your content to that audience. And you've got to be able, if you want to have an effective Instagram strategy, I can't stress this enough. You have to know your audience. That's the number one thing. That's going to make you or break you when it comes to how you're posting. Another thing, if you want to go on Instagram, you have to commit to a regular posting schedule. You need to be posting as much as you're comfortable with. And it doesn't have to be anything great. You can post, I do this all the time. I post while I drive. I make a video while I drive about things that I'm learning or things that are going on in my life. If I'm somewhere, like right now, I could take a picture of me doing the podcast here. There's a lot of different things. If you're good with words, you could go on to Twitter and then make a quote. And then, Gary Vee talks about that, where you just take a screenshot of the Twitter quote and then post that on Instagram. There's so many different creative ways that you can do that when it comes to posting. But know your audience, make a commitment to posting, and then another thing that you can do is make sure that your profile information is correct, because your bio is only 150 characters long. That's all they let you to do. And people, when they see you for the first time, they need to know what your brand voice is. If you're a professional and you want to be, you're a hedge fund manager and you want to make it extremely professional because you're tagging people that have $5 million or more, then, you don't want to be like really casual. You want to make sure that it's extremely professional. Now, on the other hand, like I said, if you're a tattoo artist, you may, kind of be a little sarcastic, maybe more on the dark side, whatever it may be, but you can get away with that. So they need to have a sense of your business when they read your bio. So take some time to think about your Instagram bio. It's 150 characters long. You can use hashtags in it. I encourage you to do that. You can use emojis. You can use spacing. Sometimes that helps for people to be able to make it really clear. And then your profile pic, make sure it's 320 by 320 pixels, because that's going to make sure that it is clear and it's what Instagram likes. So make sure you optimize your profile picture. Make sure it's complete, name, username, website, all that on your profile. Come up with a good username, something that people could remember. Don't, the underscores and lots of numbers. that really doesn't work. Try to get something that's as close to your business name as possible. Even if you have to use, like me, I wanted to use my name and I wanted to, I have an Albuquerque Business Podcast. So I made it ABQ Jason Rigby. That's my Instagram. Encourage you guys to follow me. It's ABQ Jason Rigby, Rigby. Pretty simple. It works for me. I like it, and I can let people know. They can see it on my business card. And next thing you know, I have a ton of followers. So really love that. Make sure you put your website on there. You can make a special Instagram landing page with an offer on it. That's a super creative way. Some people do that. You can put your latest blog post on there. You can put, a giveaway with, a bit.ly link. There's so many different things that you can do on that, but make sure you have your website on there. A business profile, you can put so much more information than a personal. You can put the contact information. You can put what category you are. You can do call to action buttons. You can do more in editing your profile. You can add an action button for like DMing or messaging. It's really, really cool the way that you can do things with that. You can have a shop button if you want to take it right to your store. There's so many cool things with that. And I haven't played around with the shop button. I've seen that on, and I encourage you, if you guys DM me, if you like it, if people are shopping from Instagram to your store, I'd love to be able to hear about that. If somebody is doing really well and you guys listen to this on Instagram and you're doing awesome and you're loving what you're doing, I would love to be able to have you on the podcast. So like I said, you can go to ABQ Jason Rigby, DM me, and we can set up a time and maybe we can talk about Instagram together and some of the things that you've learned with it along with what I've learned. Great content, visual aesthetics, all those things. If I'm a restaurant, of course, I don't want to have crappy food pics. So yeah, I may pay some money to have a photographer come in and then take pictures of my pictures. But I think people won't post as much because they're so worried about what it looks like instead of just producing. To me, I'm in the Gary Vaynerchuk, the Gary V model where it's just put as much content as you can out there. Because I think once you become one of these people where you're just constantly posting all the time and taking pictures, but a lot of people want to separate their personal life from their business life, and that's up to you. I think people want to get to know the business owner on a personal way. I think especially millennials and the younger generation, when you see YouTube vloggers and you watch all that and they're just, filming their whole life and getting extremely personal. If you're catering to a younger crowd, I would say convert your personal over to your business and just pretend like it's your personal. And, take pictures of your dogs, take pictures of, I watched one lady when her kid had gotten chocolate all over the couch and everything else. You remember all that stuff. Not just the good things. Maybe you had something that go wrong at work and you're stressed. And so you just make a video real quick at your desk and talk about how horrific it was. Those are things that I encourage you to do. And I think it creates a community, especially in Instagram. So you always want to use natural lighting. If you want to know how to take pictures, ask your teenager or ask somebody that a relative that's active on there all the time on Snapchat or Instagram. Ask them. They will give you all the suggestions in the world for selfies. You don't want to have any harsh lighting like fluorescence. Cloudy days. If you do get a cloudy day, I know that's rare here in Albuquerque, but that's a great time to take pictures. You can also break it up, in grids on your phone, so it's not everything in the middle all the time. Try different angles. That's what I do. I'll come from one side and then take a picture, come from the other side, go real high, down real low. But the number one thing you can do is ask somebody that takes really good pictures on Instagram. You can ask them for some advice, give them a gift card or something like that. Send them a gift card through an email, have them call you for 20 minutes and tell you all their little editing tricks. You do not need expensive cameras. An iPhone, a really nice iPhone or a really nice Google Pixel phone or the Note or, Samsung's phones, any of those with a great camera is all you need. I've tried all different kinds of things and a lot of times people can't even tell the difference. Unless you're getting into broadcasting and stuff like that, it's really not that big of a deal. You can use your phone. I would encourage you to make investment though and get a newer phone with the newer cameras. You'll be amazed at what you can do with those. With that, one of the things that you want to look at is not just are not, not just are you creating amazing pictures and stories and all that, but how are your captions? Are you using hashtags? Hashtags are really important. Let me give you an example. You want to learn how to follow people? Hashtag Albuquerque, hashtag ABQ, and then go in there and look at the influencers that are in all the time and then follow them and get them to follow you. Maybe you have businesses that are close to yours or friends of yours that have a business. Why don't you guys do a contest together? And our other businesses can share different things. Maybe you're a massage therapist and we're using nail shop, or maybe your nail shop. Maybe you guys can do giveaways for each ones to each of your audiences, and then hashtag each other, or, and then ask those followers to follow you, whatever it may be. But I encourage you, use hashtags. It's extremely important. Everybody says there's a magic number. For me, it's like 13, 14 on there. Some people like to use 4 or 5. I think you can use up to 30. So that's crazy. Some people make their own hashtag and then they like to use that one, but I look at what is trending, especially like in Albuquerque, what's trending, and then look at those hashtags, and that'll give you ideas on there, exactly what, you need to do for it. Another thing that you can do is, like I said, if you want to promote your account, you can do it like they call it cross channeling. Like I said, some people, and I think it's kind of spammy, some people will leave a comment and then leave I don't think you need to do all that, like please follow me, and then they'll spend, 2 hours doing that on 100 accounts. I think just making a sincere comment and then hearting, if you're looking at people in Albuquerque and you have a boutique baby place, and you see somebody, that's pregnant or just had a baby, well, then from there, maybe you could offer them, a huge discount. Say, congratulations, we'd love to have you in our store for a VIP guest. Here's 25% off of anything that you want in the store. Something like that, you can do that. But if you start just spamming, DMing people, or using these bots and having that, Instagram is catching on hardcore with all of that. I'm telling you, they're changing their algorithm, constantly. So every day there's new changes that are happening. Another little hint, anything that Instagram comes out new. So when you see that little circle on the top of the story where it says that something's new, you want to start using that, whether it's a filter or whatever it is, start using it right away and use it a lot. That tells Instagram that you're doing their latest, greatest things. Their algorithm's watching you in that way. They know how much you're posting, how much success you're getting, and then they're tracking you and all that. I know it's the big brother stuff, big government or whatever, but at the end of the day, you want to get your brand out there. It's free to use Instagram. It's free to use Facebook. It's free to use Twitter. It just takes a little bit of your time, and really, to be honest with you, I can sit there, look at hashtag Albuquerque and go through it in 30 minutes while I'm watching a podcast, or, I'm listening to one, or, you're watching Netflix, whatever it may be. But it's very, very simple to do that way. I was reading, there's a photographer, and I don't know how to pronounce her name. Hootsuite had this out there, but her name is Laura Izumikawa, Izumikawa, and she's a lifestyle photographer, and she's a mommy blogger, and she grew her Instagram audience from 0 to 600,000 followers. Didn't do any tricks, nothing, no bots, and everybody thinks that. And some of her things that she talked about, and I encourage you to read the article. It's, like I said, it's on Hootsuite, HOOTSUITE. But she talked about, finding ways to connect with her clients and potential clients. So how can I do that? Well, she had a wedding and lifestyle photography career. So when her daughter was born, she decided to take photos of her napping, to dress up and have fun. And if you go to her Instagram page, you're going to see that she takes amazing pictures. Very, very beautiful. But one of the things that she said more than anything is you've got to find out what you're passionate about and then share that. Maybe you own a nail salon, but you're passionate about photography. Well, then post on your business nail salon the photography that you're doing. It's totally great and fine, and people are going to love that, and your customers are going to love that. And this is one of the things she talks about, don't limit yourself. And then she said, don't imitate the success of others. Don't look at what somebody else is doing and then just copy it. Make sure you take the time to brainstorm and figure out what you want to do so that you can know exactly. One of the number 2 things she said, and I thought was really good, put yourself in your audience shoes. And she said, Instagram feed offers an intimate window into your personal life and family adventures. how you decide what to post and what not to post. Those are things that you need to figure out, the limits. And I love what she said here. She said, a lot of times I'll test posts, put them out there and see if I get positive engagement or not. And then I know which direction to go. So that's something, you may be posting about business all the time. And then next thing you know, you post something kind of really personal and then you get a ton of engagement. Well, that right there is going to be your gold. That's what you need to do. Your audience is craving that you get a little bit more personal. So that's something that you can do. And I love seeing that. I like before and afters. Everybody loves that. So if you're a fitness instructor and you want to show before and afters, or you want to interview clients while they're working out, you have all those different fun things that you can do. Then she says, number 3, to be vulnerable. So, and she had a picture of her being like really stressed out and pregnant, with the big belly, and she's like holding it, and she took a picture of herself that way. And then her youngest daughter, who looks like she's about 2, is, messing with her and playing with her hair. And vulnerability and honesty, she says, is the best way to connect to people. So being open and transparent, people develop trust. This is extremely important with your business. When you're vulnerable and honest, and you're showing that you're open and transparent, you're going to connect with your audience and build trust. And they're going to want to have a desire to consume what you're offering. Because if your brand is authentic, then guess what? It resonates. If it resonates, you're going to be successful. So you've got to find out how you can be. I got something, it was really interesting, in the mail from this company called Fracture, Fracture. And they do photographies and stuff like that. And they have a core values. And they had this little, and I love this, they had this little core value number 3. And it said, we believe in treading lightly on our planet. The world is an incredible place, and it's the canvas upon which our stories and memories are created. We take it upon ourselves to be as responsible and considerate to our environment as possible. And they have a picture of, somebody growing, it's like plants and stuff like that, and replanting, something. But it's really interesting. This company decided to take something that's so different from what they do and just make it a core value. And then they just wrote this in their box with their information. It was just a surprise, and I actually kept it because I liked it. So, being authentic and having that branded content on Instagram that displays a natural relationship with somebody is going to take you farther than you can even imagine. You'll be surprised. Like she said, I didn't think I would get 600,000 followers and 40,000 likes per post. I was just taking pictures of, our family. And she talks about filters and gear and all that stuff. She uses Final Cut Pro X for YouTube videos. That's I know a lot of you don't want to get into that. But she says she uses VSCO cam for most of her photos and videos, and she uses a filter. She says filter A4. I have not looked into that. I'm going to after I read this, VSCO cam and then filter A4, because her pictures look amazing. So if that's something that she can do real quick, and next thing you know, it's making your pictures look great. I know filters are really important, and you can play around with those on there. But I kind of want to give you some quick tips real quick, because I'm going over time here. There's little secrets that you can do. You can use different programs to schedule your content. So if you just want to sit there on a Sunday and put out, 7-14 posts every day, you've got Later and Buffer and all these other programs that are out there where you can actually set up a content calendar and put those all out there. Number 2, like I talked to about before, you make sure you use the right hashtags and be very effective. You can mix them up to see how your pictures do off of those. If you use hashtags like love or friends, those things are, you may get a lot of people look at, but you're not really engaged. Like if you use, ABQ or Albuquerque or whatever your city is, even neighborhoods and stuff like that can have hashtags and places and all that. Those are different things that I try, if I go to a certain place. Like I went to Celtic Brew Pub last night and took a picture of my beer and all their, the beer tanks and all that. And I tagged the place, of course. So now people will see that went there and see my posts and stuff like that, and got some engagement off of it. You can use editing tools. I encourage you not to go too crazy with it. But there is some that are out there. Like I said, that lady uses a VSCO inline. I just play around with the filters that are on Instagram, but I do it manually. So after I take the picture, I scroll over, I'd go over to the right, and then I look and I play with the contrast and stuff till I find exactly what I want. That's kind of how I do it. A lot of people like to do the seamless feed where it looks like they're all like one big picture. I mean, you can do that. That looks kind of gimmicky, but a lot of what I find when people do that is they tend to want to leave it because it took so much time, and then they don't post anymore. And Instagram's not too concerned about that as much as it is concerned about that you're, producing content and engaging. That's what they want people to do. Their followers, they want you to put so much content out there that you're showing that and displaying that to others, and then cause them to come back on and look at that. And they know if you have people that are looking at your stories all the time, they know which ones to serve, and they'll serve you up first every time they go on Instagram. But anything behind the scenes people love. So I encourage you, if it's behind the scenes and you can, if you're a hairstylist and you have a customer in the seat and you're changing her hair, and maybe if she doesn't mind and she has like problems with her hair, or maybe it's oily or something like that, and you want to share some information with her, have a little stand with your camera there, prop it up, and then ask her. Maybe you can give her a discount or something like that, and then pretend like you're talking to her and you're behind the scenes and people are listening in on you. They love that. That will help you out tremendously, whatever it is. If you're an esthetician and you want to talk about different skin, literally you could make videos every day on all different kinds of things just based off of what customers and situations that you're finding with them. Make sure you always share testimony and reviews. People love that. It just reinforces. You can put reviews from Google, you can screenshot those and then put those on your Instagram. That literally takes 2 seconds, and it's awesome. People love that. They will read those and respond to those and heart those. If you are brave, do Instagram Live. They will promote you to all of your followers and let them know that you're live. So if you feel brave, go live. I encourage you. If you're fearful about that, go live. It will help you out, and you'll get a ton of people, especially when you use hashtags on that. Just try it, go live. It'll go away. You'll have no worries, and you'll be fine with it. Your stories, Instagram stories. People are looking at stories more than they are posts now. And you get to show up first all the time if people are watching your recent stories. So if you're posting every day and people are watching those stories, you're going to be first on their little circle. That's awesome. Another secret that I'm going to tell you right now is I think it's Instagram opened up carousel to like 8 pictures now. So you want to use those, make sure you're using 6 to 8 pictures on there if you're going to run carousel, especially if you have if let's say you have a boutique store and you sell women's clothing, why wouldn't you post 8 pictures of a dress? Always do the 8. If you have, maybe you own a pet food store, we'll post 8 different pictures of 8 different foods, high-end foods for dogs, and then leave a comment for each one. That may take you a little bit longer, but you'll be surprised how much of viewers you'll get on that, because you're creating a collection of images with that. And then if you really want to get heavy into this, and I'll leave you with this because I'm almost at 30 minutes, partner with influencers. Find local influencers. See if there's something you can do. Maybe you can give them merchandise, free service, and have them post that when they're there. This is a huge trick. Find people that have, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 followers. And then follow them for a while. See if they're influential, and then offer them your services or product, and see if they will post you or say different things at it. Or maybe, you'll be surprised if you offer them a free massage and you're a massage therapist, and then they go live with you on their Instagram. Well, how much did that cost you? An hour of your time, and guess what happened? You just got a ton of followers off that. So utilize influencer marketing. Don't pay for it. Especially if you're a local company, find your local influencers. That's the number one thing to do. And then, like I said, last thing I want to leave you, don't use these cheap bots and all that stuff. Please don't pay for likes. Instagram knows that, because if you're going to a place and you're paying for followers and it's the same followers that 10 other places are, then you look real spammy to the algorithm, and then you're done. So you don't want to do that to Instagram. They're not going to promote your posts. You'll see your engagement and posts go down. Put in the work. Say, I'm going to spend 20 minutes a day. I'll post a couple times a day. And then at nighttime, I'll look on the different hashtags and see how I'm doing. But be creative, and you'll love Instagram. It's really fun. I'm mostly on there to post. I do look at people's stories, and I'm on there a lot more than, probably your average business, because I do digital marketing. But I encourage you, you'll have a lot of fun. Instagram is a great place to go. It's really positive. And Facebook owns it, so you can run ads if you like, and we'll do a whole nother episode on Instagram story and Instagram post ads. Thanks, guys. Follow me, Instagram, ABQ Jason Rigby. Have a great evening.
Thank you for joining us on the Albuquerque Business Podcast. And thank you to our sponsor, DukeCityMarketing.com. Please go to abqpodcast.com where you can get show notes, resources, and links to everything we talked about today to help you navigate your journey as an entrepreneur and business owner in Albuquerque.